Hey, how's it going, everybody? Brett Mix here. I just started this YouTube channel to do history of wrestling videos, but it occurred to me that people these days they want to see what's going on with the current product. So I'm just taking it upon myself that I'm going to now review Raws, SmackDowns, and pay-per-views all week, every week, with my history of wrestling and my match of the day and all the other comparison videos, countdown videos that I decide to make. So hit like and subscribe if you're into that kind of thing or you like what you see. Let's get right into Raw, September 11th, 2023. Jey Uso started the show, and like again, I haven't watched Raw in a year or two, not regular, but I've kept up with what's happening online, so I know he's made event Jey Uso, but still, the pop he got really did surprise me. You can see the crowd was into his theme, and I'll never do that again. Sorry, but the crowd was into him, everything about him, his theme, his style. He didn't talk much on the mic before he was interrupted, but the crowd really liked Jey Uso, not in the bloodline. Again, I've caught on with what's going on online. I haven't watched week after week, but I do know the basic story of it all. Kevin Owens came out, and Owens talked about how he couldn't trust him and if he should be able to trust him, which is kind of ironic if you look back at Kevin Owens' career. But and that would have been funny if somebody mentioned that, but that was left off because the Judgment Day came out, and right when they came out, you knew what's going to happen. Right after that, tag match. You see them with them, automatic tag match. But I like what they do with Dom, how they don't let him speak. I liked how Damian Priest improvised what it seems and took Dom's lines because Dom was interrupted by the crowd, and they needed to move the segment on with the super kick and the brawl and then the tag match, which was a pretty good match. It was probably the second best match of the night. But good segment overall. It wasn't too cringy. It wasn't too played out. That there was decent mic work by both sides. Finn Balor actually has impressed me. He's a lot better than I remembered. So nonetheless, I like that it didn't set up the main event because that it wasn't that good of a segment to set up the main event. But not saying we got a much better main event, but we'll get to that. But I like that this match was one that happened right away after the commercial break. Uh, we got also in the ring. We got a singles match, a squash one between the Miz. It was the Miz, and I took notes for this show. Tozawa. It was the Miz and Tozawa, and the Miz squashed him pretty much because they were building up the Miz and LA Knight for Friday Night SmackDown, which would be tonight. I'll review that tonight or tomorrow, by the way. So he just gets a good squash win, building his name up. And then we have Jackie Redmond, the Canadian broadcaster, backstage. I've been watching Jackie the last 10 years up here in Canada. She's a hockey and a wrestling fan, and she's pretty. So she's my kind of gal. And I move like this and this, so I'll just get back to Jackie Redmond in a second. But since I move like this, you might be wondering what's on my arm. And this actually could be a slide into this because Jackie watches hockey, and this is a hockey team's logo. The Buffalo Sabres is my favorite team. Well, it's my initials. It says B Mix. B Mix. Brett Mix is my name, so I got that mostly because of my initials. But that's a hockey team, and Jackie likes hockey and wrestling, so she's great in my books, and I think she's going to excel at wrestling. I just thought I'd show you the tattoo that way you don't have to say what the hell's on this guy's arm. So Jackie likes wrestling, hockey. I think she's going to be great in the WWE. She had that segment a couple weeks ago I saw on her Instagram. Not that I'm a big stalker of hers or anything, but where she did the WWE, the New Day's hip thrust. Yeah, that was funny. She did a good job there, but she's going to be great in WWE. To have a personality like her, I remember her she used to skip around the studios in Toronto, like they used to do reviews after Raw, and she used to skip around like AJ Lee back when AJ was on it. So she's been a fan for a long time. And as a kid, she talks about watching Austin and The Rock and the Attitude Era. I've been watching since the '80s, and I'm sure you guys have been watching a long time too. Anyways, Jackie Redmond was interviewing people backstage, and again, I like how everybody is talking about the main stories, and I also like the jab that Xavier Woods gave to Drew McIntyre about not being champion in front of a lot of people, and how he's jealous of Kofi Mania because Kofi got to be in front of a lot of people. So that hit Drew hard, and they had a match. And since there's no "this is good" chant, and there should never be that "this is good" chant, but since there is not, they had the "this is awesome" chant during this match. Just because a match is high impact and back and forth doesn't mean it's awesome 5 minutes into a TV match. But nonetheless, the crowd chanted it, and it had a good spot, but then it had good spots, but then Claymore kicked to the job, and he put away Xavier Woods. After that, we had a promo by Cody Rhodes, and I swear, I just watched the OA Rumble, and he came out like a CAW. If you played video games, you know what a CAW is, create a wrestler. He looked like the generic wrestler with trunks, short haircut like this, no reaction, no muscle. And now he's got muscle. He's got experience in the AWA and Japan. He's everywhere now, and I'm really proud of him. And he made event at WrestleMania. I'm really proud of him, and he's got that "stop the show." Da, 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 da. I'll never sing again. I promise. I'll never. Yeah, it's not good. Everybody just tuned out. Finger poke of doom type of turnout. Anyway, moving on. I liked his promo, and I liked Seth Rollins' promo later on. And I'm glad Seth found something that worked for him. He was the Messiah. He was Monday Night Rollins. He was in the Shield. He was in the Authority. I'm glad this Seth freaking Rollins works for him. Uh, his promos are great, but I mentioned earlier that him and Owens are lacking a certain X factor. I think it's just the sound of Rollins' voice. It's a bit nasally. I'm no one's perfect, but I meant to be a top promo man ever. So I'm not criticizing these guys' promo skills in a sense that I'm looking at the bottom of the barrel. No, these guys are great on the microphone. I'm just talking about in order for them to be the top, uh, compared to Ric Flair and Roddy Piper, Randy Savage, Jake Roberts, the top, The Rock, Austin, Jericho, Mick Foley, like those guys. That's why I'm comparing them to. So Seth and Owens don't lack that much. They just, compared to the top, the cream of the crop, they're not exactly right there. But Seth Rollins definitely has a character that fits him, and it's good to see. What's interesting is in the Rhea Ripley Rodriguez match, and I think I'm skipping over the 6-man tag, which was decent. Uh, I'll just talk about what I want to talk about in these reviews. I'm not going to touch on every single segment, so I might have missed a couple more. But in the main event between Rodriguez and Ripley, I noticed that Ripley told a story. There's a reason why Roman Reigns, when he came back with his chiclets, his dentures, and he beat Bray Wyatt for the title. Rest in peace, Bray. When he beat him for the title, he came back and started his long reign that's still going today. He talked trash when he beat people up. He worked a slow style. Wrestling does not have to be ping pong, back and forth, fast paced in order to be good. Sometimes you can do things like sell. You can show psychology. You can have back and forth with mind games. There's so much more to wrestling than just action and high spots. So I'm not saying this match was great or even good between Rodriguez and Ripley, but I like that they worked a slower pace. They can do that in a TV match in a main event slot. To me, that's excellent that they did that, and they felt they didn't have to run around everywhere the whole time. But of course, something happened. I heard rumors of this online, and not rumors because it was a fact. Nia Jax, the Hole, came back. She attacked both ladies, and then she says, "I'm back," and that's how they ended Raw. If I had a flagship show, I know that's how I'd end Raw. So yeah, I'm hoping that the stream cut off early and there was something else. But yeah, if that was the ending, that's too bad. But it was about a 5 out of 10 show. The bar is so low for how I expected it to be because I keep up to date with the ratings and stuff. So some of it was good. You might have been bored to tears because you might be watching the same thing every week. I'm not sure if it is yet. I'll have to watch next week to find out if they're doing the same thing every week. But to me, since it was new, I'll give it a 5. I'm a strict rater though. Um, yeah, though I would like you guys to come along with the ride, and if you like what you see, come along for the ride and watch more of my videos. That would be great. So we'll see you at SmackDown in a review, and I'll get better at this as I go along too. I promise you that. So Brett Mix signing off for Raw, September 11th, 2023. Hopefully, we'll see you next time.